First order of business is roll call, but perhaps if we can go around the table, just do introductions. And Mark, you'll note who's here.
Okay.
Sure.
Ellen?
Hi, I'm Ellen Hoderick. I'm a Tri-City Councilwoman. This is my last meeting. I've been on the LDFA for 12 years.
Wow.
So appreciate the opportunity to see everybody again and appreciate this group very much and what it does for all of us. So, sorry, I'll start with the speech.
No, thanks. Well, we've done some great things. Automation Alley, the facility there, the program, and we're proud in Southfield what we've done with Centropolis. So thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Freeman, or Shelley, everyone calls me Shelley. I'm the staff person for, like Mark, for our LDFA, and nice to see everybody.
Hello, I'm Julie Quinlan Dufresne. I'm one of the assistant city attorneys for the city of Troy. I'm actually standing in for my boss, lawyer Greg Bloom, who couldn't be here today.
Okay, thank you.
All right, hi everybody. Todd Kwadzinski. By day, I'm the CEO of DDoS Industries. We're a machinery manufacturer in Walled Lake, Michigan. And by night, I run your local Veterans of Foreign Wars organization here in Troy.
And I'm Mark Adams, Secretary Treasurer for the LDFA for the City of Troy.
Tom Kelly, I'm the Executive Director of Automation Alley.
Anthony Rosenblum, I'm citizen here in Troy, citizen representative, so excited to be here.
So, Dylan Clark, Senior Management Analyst here at the Manager's Office. Work real closely with Mark on economic development and work for this guy right here.
And I'm Frank Nastasi, the City Manager, so greetings to everyone.
Justin Probilski, the City Assessor for Southfield.
Mark, we want to... Yeah.
Brian Ferris, Deputy Assessor, City of Troy.
Hi, I'm Kristen Wadzinski, citizen. Todd's wife.
Well, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Mark. All right, our next order of business is election of officers. We have a chair, a vice chair, and a treasurer secretary. I'm currently serving as the chair. Justin here is the vice chair. Mark Adams is serving as the treasurer and secretary for 2024-5. And
Well, let's hope we can just re-up the slate.
the chair will entertain a motion that we re-up the slate. Is there support?
Oh, it is. Oh, I'm sorry, we need a second. Yeah, I'll second.
Yeah.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a slate of officers, and the same slate for 25 has been re-elected. All right, here we have approval of the minutes of October 21st, 2024. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve minutes.
Is there support?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Our next order of business is the City of Southfield Smart Zone update. I'm gonna turn that over to Ms. Freeman.
Great, thank you. I don't have enough copies for everybody, so I'm gonna maybe ask if you could share in the first section. The subsection is really Automation Alley, so maybe Tom, you wanna talk about what's going on? And
I think Mark was going to do an update, right?
Yeah, I'm on the smart zone, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So just,
his number.
just go through your portion of it.
Absolutely. So let me pass these around and maybe whoever's here can share, and then I can always get you other copies
Here,
of
I've shown
everything.
mine.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it, so
Wait, let me see.
on these here.
Todd, did you get one?
I got one, yeah.
Maybe if you want to share with the gentleman behind you. Anyway, Automation Alley has been a big partner of Centropolis, and so we do appreciate our relationship, and we support and work with Automation Alley on a regular basis, and it's our link that keeps us all together. In Southfield, we opened an accelerator on the campus of Lawrence Technological University. It's called Centropolis. For those of you that have not visited Centropolis, we would love for you to come over and see what they're working on. They continue to venture into new areas and work with the state on numerous initiatives. One of their latest initiative is the Defense Hardware Accelerator, which has just been a phenomenal relationship with all the different organizations, the defense organizations that are in Michigan currently. They bring them over and work with Lawrence Technological University and the professors there and the students. And they're really trying to strengthen the supply chain to make it US-based, Michigan-based, and hopefully Southfield, but we do have limited space for industrial in our community. Really just strengthening that pipeline. They've also been managing or working as one of the groups that have managed the Michigan Mobility Prototyping Grant, and several of our clients received funding. This is a statewide initiative to help, again, with mobility. And the big focus is we have a lot of companies that work together. And we were at the Consumer Electronics Show with our partner from Troy. Mark and I were there representing, looking for businesses to come back to Michigan and supporting. We had, I think there were 6 companies last year at CES, and there's a handout that I gave you associated with that. And they had a lot of success, and they actually got a new, signed up again this year for a booth for January, and I think they'll have maybe 10 to 15 companies that will be at the booth this year. So that's really exciting. And then again, they've been working with recycling, clean tech, climate tech, and circular economy in Industry 4.0. And I handed out a couple of examples of our newsletters just to share with you. And then we have a couple of big projects that are slated to come into our zone, and so we're really excited about that. The city, we have a lot of properties that are underutilized, like the city of Troy has, and so we've been really encouraging adaptive reuse of these properties. One of our projects wasn't zoned properly to have research and development in there, so we took that through the zoning process and expanded the use, and there's a new R&D facility that moved into there. We have a group that recently purchased the former Blue Cross Blue Shield properties, which is almost 1 million square feet. They didn't purchase the single building, but the other 3 properties, and they're keeping one of them as a office complex, but the other 2 are going to be converted into 305 apartments, and there's a lot of space there, so they're going to bring in a lot of amenities to really support those apartments. We're excited about that. And then we have another very large project. They're coming to City Council tonight, so it's not a surprise. They're looking to build a big data center on some vacant property that we have. And so that project is also slated as proposed, so we're hoping that moves forward too. So we're excited about the developments in the area, and again, I just provided, the one company, Intercell, which is one of our first companies that we had come to Centropolis. They are a Troy business, and they were able to make a wonderful relationship with Kamau. And so this woman retired from GM, and she went on her own to create some battery technology. And so it's just a phenomenal relationship to see her transform herself and her business. And she started out in our space and needed some additional space and found a great spot on Maple Road.
Maple Road.
Yeah. And so it's great to see that connection. So it's,
Yeah, I've been out there to Intercell before, so it's a great relationship, and I've been to Kamal before, so we like to see those types of ventures take place, especially in the battery field. It's kind of a dicey field right now with all of the funding being cut back, so we'll just have to wait and see what comes of it. But we also have a bit of a cluster of EV technology here in Troy on Technology Drive with LG Energy. And so that relationship with that type of technology and that type of development, I think it bodes well for what we're doing in the city of Troy, what we're doing in Southfield, what we're doing in Oakland County, and what we're doing in the state of Michigan. So I took a little bit of your time. But
yeah, no, I'm all finished. And if anyone has any questions, or again, if anyone wants to come out and check out the facility, just let me know. I'm happy to make that happen.
I think these new projects for Southfield are important because it's an opportunity for the increment to grow. Our revenue stream has been relatively flat, and for us to be able to have a broader base of activities, funding's going to be necessary. So we've maintained, done very well, replaced roads and some things. I would under public, just when we're at the end of the meeting, I wouldn't mind having a discussion about electrical capacities if Troy's experiencing some of the issues we are in Southfield, where DTE's ability to build out is becoming a deterrent to attract and get some of our buildings put into productive use. And I've watched buildings that were fully energized at one point. The electrical capacity's been swung over to other projects, and now as we're redeveloping, we also have to figure out how you re-energize a building.
Absolutely. It's been a big challenge for us.
And, Tom, I think your influence, this board's influence, I think DTE needs to hear it, and Public Service Commission. A lot of it is the policies they put in place that don't necessarily make it easy for...
When Mark and I go on site selector trips, that is one of the number one issues that comes up.
Well, I'll wait for public comments, so I'm gonna stop there. I had some comments, but I'll wait because you said that's when you wanted to bring the topic back up again.
So Mark, do you want to hit on the Troy?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on some of the things that are going on in Troy's smart zone, and it's really not mutually exclusive. When I say smart zone, when I say Automation Alley, as you know, the way the structure is, we're going to adjourn this meeting and then go into our subcommittee meeting, and then I asked Tom to talk about Automation Alley at that particular meeting. So again, I just want to be clear that it's not mutually exclusive what goes on in the Smart Zone and Automation Alley, because it's really, it works together as one entity over there on Bellingham, and it's a 75-acre parcel, but we don't have the vacancy within that parcel for new development to come in. But it's been a pretty stable area for technology-based companies, but recently there has been some vacancies over there within our smart zone. We had Seco, they moved out, they were a manufacturer, and they moved some of their production to Mexico. And then also they're doing, a lot of the work can be done from home, they found out. So they're almost directly across the street from where Automation Alley is Seco. And then Plastic Omnium, that's another company that vacated the area, but they took more space down on Investment Drive. So I think we're still dealing with the sort of COVID phenomenon of where I think if these companies find out that their workers are just as productive at home as it was at the job site, then if they can cut back on their footprint to save money, then that's a trend that's continuing on. But we did have one company that's looking to do an expansion that I think some of our council members attended a few years ago, and I think the mayor spoke there. Encore, they're sort of a software technology company within the smart zone, and they're doing an expansion over there. I talked to the CEO a few weeks ago, and we're working for him to get an additional building over there in the smart zone. So Automation Alley continues to act as a soft landing spot for technology-based companies that are sort of scouting out this area to take a look to see if it's enough business to justify a manufacturing operation or some type of technology center. So Automation Alley is still doing that for us. And also Automation Alley within the Smart Zone is still doing the international trade missions, where they're bringing companies from not just Troy and Oakland County, but from our region, giving them the opportunity to go all over the world for looking for joint ventures with other companies. So it's a continuation of of that operation, the Automation Alley also. So Tom, if you want to add something to that, you can.
Yeah, I think the couple things that are relevant for this group, I doubt any listeners are interested in what I have to say or online, but a couple things. One is Automation Alley, we have instituted what we call a virtual soft landing, because what we're finding is the attention that is being paid on America right now because of the America First agenda, love it or hate it, it's causing a lot of companies from around the world to say, I need to figure out how to get into the US and I need to do it right now. So if you have companies that are itching to get into the US and get established, normally they have to wait to get into some soft landing. We've set it up where we can give them a virtual address, give them a virtual mailbox, get them set up right away so you can start talking to them right away. Like the physical space is going to take a while, but they want to get that US address, and we can provide that for them. So that's a really big service, especially as you're trying to fill this kind of stuff. So while COVID created an arc for work from home as a possibility, tariffs, again, love them or hate them, are creating an arc the exact opposite way. That it says, if I'm somewhere outside, I need to come into the US. And that's especially, we're seeing that's especially true for European companies. So the real advantage is not so much a Chinese company going to move here because that's got its own issues, but a European company, we're seeing lots of European talent. The other thing I'll say is, I talk a lot about Project Diamond. We have surpassed 500 manufacturers that have printers on the network between Oakland County and Macomb County. And I'm pleased to announce, it's not 100% public yet, but it is out in the public domain. Wayne County is coming on board and are going to greenlight 250 more manufacturers. So the whole point of Project Diamond is to demonstrate that you can do distributed manufacturing. And we think one of the spearheads of this, and I'll talk about this in a minute, is things like drone manufacturing. Because drones are light, they're plastic, they're fast, and they're set up beautifully to push a button and have all, we can make 800 drones at a time on 800 machines. So you start to put that in perspective, like, well, I couldn't have 10,000 machines on there, right? And it sort of alleviates the surge capacity issue. To that effect, the last thing I'll say is we were just awarded a $3 million Department of Defense contract, not a grant. Grants tend to be R&D, and let's see if you can figure it out. This is a contract to demonstrate the safe distributed production of Army components. And this is huge. And what I mean by safe is, one of the biggest issues that you have with distributed manufacturing is, how do I push a button and have you make a part for me, but you can't make that part once you're done, right? Otherwise I share the IP with you, right? Almost all manufacturing is for you to make it. I have to give you all of my knowledge, teach you how to make it, and now you have my IP. The beauty of digital manufacturing is I can push a button and I can push it to you and your machine can make it. And of course you'll have the physical good, but you could have the physical good anyway. The physical good is not proprietary, it's how to make the physical good. That we can lock down. And that's what the military is so interested in. So I think it's a wonderful testament to what Michigan can do when we think about the world just a little differently. And we're so pleased that this opportunity was presented to us. And this opportunity was given to us because of the strong leadership we had at the federal level. So at the time it was Debbie Stabenow, and it was Senator Peters, and now it's Slotkin. If you see Slotkin's latest press release, she talks about tourniquet clips for Ukraine and how we did that, and that was Project Diamond. And the fact that she wants to build a national additive manufacturing network. And basically she can't come out and say it's going to be Project Diamond, but that's the hill she's going to die on, right? I mean, why would you not make it for Michigan, by Michigan, right? So I'll stop there, but really good stuff happening, and we stand ready to help in any capacity we can, because we see the next 5 years as probably more consequential for manufacturing than the last 4. So it's really going to matter because of 2 issues. 1, the America First agenda, and 2, the fact that the whole world has kind of woken up and said, China probably not the place we want to be putting all our manufacturing, and that's going to create, like Perot said, a huge sucking sound of manufacturing leaving America. I think it's going to be a huge sucking sound of manufacturing leaving China, right? So we need to be ready for that and unapologetic when we say, look, Michigan's open for business.
I just want to add, when you talk about drones and what you're starting to do over at Automation Alley, I just want to make sure that you're aware that we have one of the most highly technical, sophisticated drone operations here in Troy, RIIS. Are you familiar with them?
I do know.
Over on Kurtz Boulevard?
I sure do.
I just want to make sure that you knew that they were there.
Yes, they are good friends of Automation Alley too.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yep,
Good stuff.
good Irishman.
Mark, anything else now?
That's it.
Tom, thank you very much. Exciting stuff. Our next order of business, we need to establish the 2026 meeting schedule. It's our equivalent October date. It's what we've done the last couple of years.
Right, it's October the 19th. We need a motion to approve.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve October 19th, 2026 for our next annual meeting.
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, you got that, Mark?
I got it.
All right. All those in favor of October 19th, 2026, same time, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Board member comment. All right. Do we want to touch on the DTE stuff, or?
If you want,
It's just, I'm just throwing, I'm finding that I'm becoming more and more frustrated by it. One of my hats, acquire a hotel, 275 units, and then they want to re-energize it. I practically got to pay to have it all put in, and it's like, I'm not changing anything, I just want to operate it. So, Shelley, I know for the data center, it's a challenge.
Right, I mean, we understand that that DTE has a lot of people coming with conceptual projects, and there's a lot of pull to try and get that power to go to different areas. And so, we understand regarding this data center project that, to vet it and to make sure that it's a real project is something that they're concerned about. But, when we've already provided the support and information to them, and you'd think that they would listen a little bit more. But anyway, we've had a lot of struggles on a variety of projects for many years, and, it's just been a big issue. And we know in the past, supply chain issues were causing the delays. And so now we're just trying to figure out, like, all that should be caught up with what's the new rationale for the delay at this time. So we're still working with them.
Yeah, they're such a powerful lobbyists that they have. It's hard to get any type of change out of DTE. It seems like they almost operate as a monopoly. But, I've went up against them a few times, and, they fall on Public Service Commission some of the time and said, well, we can't do anything because we're regulated by the Public Service Commission. Because one thing, it's a little bit different than what Fred is bringing up, but I think it's still pertinent to the conversation, is that in order for us to be competitive, per kilowatt hour is very important for these projects. And Michigan has the highest per kilowatt hour in any state in the Midwest, when you talk about the Midwest states. So that's prohibitive for us. But the power issue is an issue, especially with EVs and batteries. And I don't know how they're monitorizing this now, but I'm beginning to see some of these stations go into like banking centers, and that's pulling power from somewhere. Like if you go into Chase, all of a sudden you see 5 charging stations in the parking lot of Chase. I don't know if you have noticed that. So, and that's DTE, I think they're a big part of pushing that. I know we need more charging stations, so, but if it's pulling the power from a development, then that's another issue. So it's not an easy nut to crack, but I don't know what can be done because, they have such a powerful lobbying agency behind them, and they when it's to their benefit, they fall behind the Public Service Commission, but when they want a rate change,
Tom?
they blame it on them.
Chairman Zorn, is solar still in the purview of the cities and municipalities, or has that been pulled to the state level? And the reason why I bring that up is that's a great point of leverage, because the last thing DTE wants is a site putting in their own power generation capacity, and that gives you great leverage. Say, hey, just energize the building and get that for me.
Yeah, I don't know that that would sufficiently power the issues that we have to address.
No, but they would fear that, so it
Yeah,
gives you leverage.
I don't know, we're not getting into that, I don't think so.
I would tell you, I would only entertain it as some type of partnership, it would, something, we have a hard time doing our core activities, but it's the right partnership, and kind of, same thing we do with housing and that.
You may want to, the next time you're with them at the hotel, just say, yeah, we're thinking of lighting up that whole parking lot with raised solar.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it, doesn't cost you
They're all
that.
private. We were early on, one of the first communities to put the PACE program, working with Andy Levin, and there are some options. I bring it up, I echo Mark's remarks about Michigan's kilowatt price is high. Now what I see is, so you're putting a project together and they're saying, all right, well, you got to bring the transformer in. You got to do, where those capital costs, you go to other states, the utility company is doing that. And I think that's where we're losing some, an advantage. And it's one thing to have the higher price, but on top of it, I got to spend $2.5 million to energize it. And it's important for our smart zone because these buildings have been sitting empty. Blue Cross Blue Shield used a lot of money. And it's funny you bring up solar. Grand Home's $2 million in solar investment on the Rensen building was part of their decision to bail on a building that they had just completely remodeled. The elevators, the security system, when you go in there, they weren't planning on leaving, but the incentives were so great. And boom, it pulls out. And in our case, these buildings were acquired by the same group that owned all the Enron real estate, group out of Canada that really didn't know what they were doing. They were able to pick it up for $3-4 a square foot.
Yeah.
And just most of us have homes at worse. So I just bring it up because I think for us, we're on a call tomorrow in our LDFA, this electrical capacity issue is going to be something. What's interesting, DTE has an out-of-service solar field right in the immediate area within our zone. And I think we've got to push. And now the pendulum has swung the other way, but I will tell you, I sure like what I'm paying at the pump these days. Something's changed, and but I'll stop there. Just the DTE ability to service is becoming a larger issue for us in Southfield on adaptive reuse because these buildings have been emptied. They've pulled the power. And I had this happening to me on the west end of Taylor as Aerotropolis was coming in. Ashley Capital comes in and builds their big box warehouse. They were pulling the electricity out, and we land Oakwood, the Oakwood Group, plastic production group. I had capacity. Then the only thing that changed is a new building, and now in this case, my LDFA wasn't a smart zone. We helped capitalize the cost of bringing a transformer to it. We gave up increment to bring power to that building. I think there's some things that we need to keep our eyes on. And I'll stop there. Any other public comment or board member comment? Public comment. Motion to adjourn?
They have another meeting after, so.
Pardon?
Yeah, they have another meeting after ours.
Oh, okay.
No, so, yeah,
All right.
we are adjourned. So, our Troy people hang on, and Tom hang on, but I'm sure committee meeting, and I'm going to turn it over to Anthony.
All right, thank you all for joining. We'll call the meeting to order at 4:03 on October 20th, 2025. With that, we'll move forward with a roll call.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Okay. The Honorable Helen Holdrick,
Here.
Anthony Rosenbaum,
Here.
and Todd Wazinski.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
All right. With that, we'll move forward with the approval of the minutes, which should be attached to our agendas. Unless anyone needs more time to review, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Alan. Any support?
Second, support.
Thank you, Todd. Any discussion? All in favor for approval of minutes? Aye. All opposed? Okay, approved minutes. Seeing no old business, we'll move on to the new business. Looking at our 2026 meeting schedule.
Yes, and we are meeting 2 times a year for the subcommittee, and our first meeting will be April 20th of 2026, and then the next meeting is October 19th of 2026. So can I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Support, second?
Guess that's my job here. You're doing great, Todd.
All right, I got it.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of proposed dates? Aye. All opposed? Okay, we've got dates for next year. With that, it's back to you, my friend.
Well, I think we're probably done. I'll turn it back to the board chair unless you have specific questions, but.
No, and you talked a little bit about Project Diamond. Is there anything else that's going on, like with the World Trade?
World Economic Forum.
Yes.
So, yeah, well, we have parted ways with the World amicably. So that was a relationship going on for 3 years. It was to establish the U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing. That is our center, and that center will continue its work. But the fees that we had to pay to the forum to establish that kind of brand were high, and the forum did not come without its own baggage. In other words, if you talk to people, half the population would be enamored with the forum, and half the population would say, you're selling your soul to the devil. So it was a good branding mechanism to bring a lot of light to the U.S. Center for Advanced Manufacturing, but we decided in this last year, and it was funded by the state of Michigan and Oakland County directly. So the 3 of us together decided that the usefulness of that spotlight for branding had run its course. With the new administration, it would be even more difficult to swim upstream in some ways, and so we ended that relationship, and the U.S. Center will carry on as its own entity focused on training and leadership for the very largest corporations, which was always its mission. So Automation Alley's mission is really focused on the smallest manufacturers among us in the state of Michigan. The U.S. Center is focused on the largest manufacturers around the state and around the world to try and get them to locate to Michigan. So that's the 2-pronged strategy. So,
And you
thanks
did-
for bringing that up.
Yeah, and you did indicate that Project Diamond is in the second phase and is moving forward.
Yeah, the third phase will be Wayne County coming on board and the Department of Defense.
What was that total number? It was 250 added on to,
To 600. So it'll be 800 when we're all done, and that'll be another 3-year run for Wayne County. So when we're all done, we'll have 800 manufacturers that are all capable of sharing assets with 799 other manufacturers. It's really nowhere in the world do you see this kind of work.
well, and it's fascinating to think back. At first, it was what, like 30? Like,
Oh, yeah, we started, it was.
Going to the first meeting I attended of this, and he was talking about it, yeah.
When we're trying to do this new thing that's really different, and you're really seeing it come to fruition. It's really gratifying. The risk is that you never know when the curve is going to inflect.
Yeah.
In other words, additive is still not quite ready for prime time in terms of true production, right? We know that. A lot of people view it as, oh, it's a prototyping tool, it's all that. We're saying, no, that's not the case. It's going to follow the same curves as every other technology, where at some point, AI was nothing, and then all of a sudden it was everything. Literally beyond everything. It was like, well, oh my God, what do? I'm going to be out of business if I don't focus on this. Additive manufacturing for manufacturers will follow the same trajectory. We think we're getting close because AI is an accelerant to additive manufacturing, because as you digitize everything, it lends itself to more things being able to be made digitally, right? So it's just 1 and 1 makes 3, as opposed to, oh, now I've done it digitally, I have to back it out and then learn how to physically make it by making tooling and jigs and fixtures. If you think about it, that's done for the convenience of humans. Has nothing to do with actual production. So as production becomes more and more digital down this Project Diamond path, we think it will only get better from here. Oh, and I didn't announce, probably should have, I'm sorry that they've left, but Project Diamond Community has done over 51,000 prints since our inception. 51,000. And a print might be one part, it might be 10 parts. Because we only know that they printed something on the build plate, but usually when you print something, you'll print a whole bunch of something. So we don't know how many parts were actually created on the network, but we know there were over 51,000 print jobs that have been performed on the network. So something to be really proud of. And a heavy concentration in Troy itself, because that's our home, so manufacturing.
And those were
And I
on,
hope, Todd, you have a printer, right? Have you signed up for Project Diamond yet?
I'm going to. Yes.
Please do.
Yeah, we do have one for prototyping, so.
But
it'll
you,
be
yeah,
interesting.
you need to be part of Project Diamond, because it's really good, and we'll get you another printer.
Okay.
and they started with dollars out of COVID.
That's correct. It was to
Yeah.
make PPE.
Yes, that's right.
That was how we qualified for COVID dollars. It was Sean Carlson and Dave Coulter and Dave Woodward had said, we're gonna spend a lot of money supporting the community, but we wanna put a little bit of money that supports the community, but is strategic and will outlive the COVID
This era.
era. And they were really smart in thinking about that. And they said, Tom, what do you propose? And we proposed this and said, let's do that. And so that's how Project Diamond was born, and then it's kind of found a life of its own. So we're very, very, very pleased with the progress that has been made.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, in my note-taking, my other hole in my note-taking, the defense contract is for how much?
3 million,
3 million.
yes. And that's to demonstrate the ability to do military parts on a distributed network. And that's really important because the reason why we're excited is, you know, all of this money accrues out to the manufacturers. We're just we're the 501c6, the public trust that helps affect all this. So this is seeding profit into these small manufacturers, and we'd like to just turn on the fire hose and go from 3 million to 20 million to 50 million to 100 million and have a whole defense industry that grows around these companies that maybe weren't in defense at all. And all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, I can participate in that. So it's really quite interesting what we're trying to pull off.
Well, a contract versus a grant is
Is a big deal.
it's more better.
It's more better. You know, I couldn't have said it any better. I like the technical term.
I understand things on a,
Yeah.
citizen level.
There you go.
I'm glad you understand it, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference. When you're on contract with the Defense Department, the whole intent is, we don't buy 3 million of anything. We're trying to validate that this is indeed something we want to do. So it's not a skunk works project, it's a real deal.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. So, you know, I'm hoping that we get lucky.
Yeah.
I'll clearly get hired now in Automation Alley as a spokesperson.
That was teeing up.
That's what I was gunning for.
Next step.
I'm
Come see
kidding.
me.
I'm kidding.
The more better lady.
She's already got the tagline written. It's good.
No.
It sells itself.
No, this is, and pardon me for trying to do some ties back in time,
You're good.
but we have some new folks sitting here, and it takes time for some of this stuff to build, and when you understand that, I'll be off of here, and the next meeting, there might be something new. When you hear it, think of it in those terms of what is this, what's the potential of this, and sticking with it in the long haul is usually part of the challenge.
We've been working at this for 5 years,
Yeah.
and we probably have 5 or 10 to go. That's kind of the time frame that we're working. It's a whole generational thing almost that
Yeah.
we're working on. It'll outlive me. I would be retired before we actually get to the finish line of Project Diamond.
Right.
Or it'll kill me. One of those two things is probably a true thing. Because you know how that goes. Never a dull moment.
Right.
Since our councilperson brought it up for our new board member,
The evolution of Automation Alley, it started with 2 people over at Oakland County in the administrative office. And the whole idea behind it was that at that time, we were trying to recruit workers, which we know we still are. Talent is still #1, but back then it was really sort of a race to get talent into different states and different communities. So that's why Automation Alley was created. And it has morphed from there into what Tom is talking about now, from a two-person operation to their own facility that Troy helped finance through tax increment financing, LDFA. And I think City of Southfield gives some to their
Yes.
LDFA. And so now they have a physical location, and now they're doing so much more than just the recruitment of workers. So that's sort of the genesis of it.
Yeah, the LDFA is a sizable portion of our operating budget. So, I'm very appreciative.
Great. With that, we'll open it up to board member comment. Thanks so much for the updates, Tom. Any board member comments? Seeing none. Public comments? Okay, well, in that case,
We're adjourned.
we'll adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming out.